Ooh, and today is a good one we've got. Let's see, what do we have? We've got a couple bids, a couple tsunamis, envy once, maybe twice, within different contexts and completely different headlines. So stay tuned. Good morning, mushrooms, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers, sisters, mothers, misters, and to all my cousins out there around the world. It's time to plug in, get this train chugging. There's lots going on in the world. Hallelujah! Microphones will be muted at the next presidential debate. No, they will not be muted the entire time, obviously. To mute something means to turn off the sound, as you probably know from the remote controls on your television, or if you don't have one, you've probably seen one before, and that mute button silences the television when you don't want to hear it anymore. When it is not their turn, their mics will be muted so that they are incapable of speaking over each other and interrupting each other, thus giving other people the opportunity to be heard, which is the point of a debate. Alright, let's move on and learn more in the caption below. He drove the first debate into chaos. Now, chaos is a complete lack of rules, reason, organization, or order. And it comes from ancient Greek, and it actually means a yawning chasm or the void. A yawning chasm, empty space, which means that it is devoid of any sort of rules or order. Anything can happen. And so, in an attempt to preserve some semblance of order, they're going to be muting microphones when it's not that person's turn to speak. It's kind of sad that we had to go this far down the road, but at least they are taking steps to mitigate, if not solve the problem. All right, let's carry on. Trump trashes Dr. Fauci and makes baseless COVID claims. Just like a piece of garbage, you take them, you ball them up, and then you throw them away because you don't need them anymore. You should never do that because that's littering, and you shouldn't trash people either. But to trash somebody means to criticize them with a lot of vitriol, to make them look like garbage. And he's making baseless claims, as we've seen countless times on the show before. Not countless. Really, truly, it is countable. But many times on the show. Baseless claims, those are a nice little collocation. If something has no base, no foundation upon which to stand, that means it has no evidence or anything to back up or support those claims. They are indeed baseless. Whereas they should be based in, or better even yet, on science. If something is gross, in this case, well, it means disgusting. Disgusting, I don't think it makes you want to vomit. It's not like blood and guts and or festering garbage or anything like that, but it will disgust you on a moral or ethical sort of ground. Fact check. Trump makes 66 false or misleading claims in 3 days. Hey, what are we shooting for new records here? 66 false or misleading claims. As you know, the prefix mis means badly or incorrectly. And so it's like, he's come along with me, follow me, he's leading you in the wrong direction with his claims and information. Remember, those claims are baseless. They're just purely his own opinion and have no foundation or grounding in reality or science. Unfortunate, friend of Ernie, my brother, my longtime flatmate out there, stay safe in Brussels because Belgium is facing a tsunami of COVID cases. That is not good. A tsunami, as you know, is a ginormous wall of water that washes over things after typically some sort of seismic event, much like an earthquake. Well, this is a figurative tsunami, but it's going to be that huge surge of cases. They are skyrocketing in Belgium. All right, that's one tsunami. We'll see another one down below. Moving on to my former home, my surrogate home, Czech Republic. I lived there for a long time, and masks made the Czech Republic the envy of Europe, but now they have blown it. Yes, they did a great job in the beginning using masks and so on and stemming the rise of COVID. They nipped it in the bud, so to say. Another phrase for stopping things before they blossom, because flowers or leaves on trees, there's the branch, and then they bud, and then they blossom. If you nip it in the bud, then it will never blossom or grow into, in this case, a full-blown problem. They were the envy of Europe. If you are envious of something, you wish that you had that or you were in their shoes. often to be misused and confused with the term jealous. However, jealous and jealousy are related to love and romantic interests. Well, maybe not always love and romance, but I think you see which direction I'm headed. Envy is a more general term for, just wanting things that other people have or wanting to be in their position. And they did a great job, but now they have blown it. Cases are rising there dramatically. If you blow something, that means you screwed it up and you lost whatever advantage that you had. Maybe your team in sports was leading by 20 points, but then you grew complacent. You weren't trying as hard, playing as hard, and the other team came back from behind and beat you. Then that means you blew the lead, you blew the match. Moving on. Trump's campaign stoops to new lows. Now, I'm very familiar with this verb, to stoop, because I'm a rather tall individual, and in Europe some doors are very low for me, and I thus have to stoop to enter them. And it's to lower yourself, often by hunching your shoulders like so as to avoid a low bridge or a low doorway. But in this case, figuratively, to stoop to new lows means to lower yourself. And remember, if we're lowering ourselves, our values, the things that we hold dear, etc., it means we're compromising our own integrity. And, well, lows are always bad, highs are always good, unless you're playing golf. Let's move on. The Supreme Court has rejected a Republican bid to curtail mail-in voting in key battleground states. Now, let's start with this curtail. Dear goodness gracious, what is that all about? Well, it means to lessen or stop something. And yes, it actually does come from Latin, and it is related to tails. And back in the day, they used to actually cut the tails of horses, I guess maybe so they don't get poop on them. And so cutting something short, if you cut something short, you're stopping it from happening. And so they're trying to stop the mail-in voting, and as I just said, they're trying to. Just like in an auction, if you are bidding on something because you want to buy it, you are trying to buy it. Somebody else might outbid you, you lose the auction and you're not successful. But we'll see this, that somebody's bid to do something, it means their attempt to do it. Move on. A Taiwanese official was allegedly injured after an altercation with Chinese diplomats in Fiji. Alright, I don't know what this altercation was. It could have been just a heated argument, but if they were injured and sustained some physical damage, that means there was probably a little bit of a scuffle, maybe some pushing and shoving, maybe a couple blows were thrown. Who knows? I've not read the article. If you do, let me know, because it sounds interesting and also kind of horrifying in the ongoing escalation of tensions between China and Taiwan. I mean, really, this is a situation that has been festering for decades and decades now. An altercation could be an argument, it could be some sort of fight, but not like an all-out fight, just more pushing and shoving, a little scuffle. Vocabulary from the show, past episodes. Let's move on. One Republican senator is desperately trying to run away from Trump. We've had other ones trying to distance themselves from Trump. They're like, yeah, I'm not really with that guy. He's over there and I'm over here. I'm not part of this crazy circus. This person isn't just actively distancing themselves, they are trying to run away, back away, run away. And so, as to not be associated with Trump. Alright, moving on. Alright, on to some more, because they're all so disturbing. Where's the funny feel-good news that turn up from time to time? A New Yorker reporter is now on leave from CNN as well after accidentally exposing himself on a Zoom call. Now, we see exposing the truth, exposing the facts. He was exposing his facts on a Zoom call, and that's not good. You should not show off your private parts or play with yourself while on a business call with colleagues and other reporters. That's a no-no. This is taboo. Moving on, an ex-Republican strategist is sounding off on the party. To sound off on somebody, well, if you think about it, sounds are something that you can hear, and this implies very loud vocal criticism. We have We have had lots of phrases for that on the show, but to sound off on somebody making its first appearance on the show, yay! Very vocally excoriating or criticizing his party, and he's saying burn it down and start over because it has become poisoned. It's no longer stable or viable as a vehicle for political change. It's been corrupted by Trump, and so we just need to completely level it, wipe it off the map, and start from scratch. Whew. Moving on. I promised you a second tsunami, and this one is an actual physical tsunami. Not a tsunami of COVID cases, but the wall of water, the large wave that is caused by a seismic event, in this case an earthquake, 7.5 magnitude off the coast of Alaska. Let's move on. China's economy is the envy of the world. Envy again. Told you it'd be here. The world wants to be like China in terms of economy. Yes, it suffered some setbacks at the beginning of this COVID calamity, but it bottomed out, bounced back, it has rebounded and is moving up, increasing and progressing and all of the magical things that the economy does. Many other countries, their economies are still suffering, languishing. They haven't bounced back or rebounded since this COVID, with especially now it seems like more quarantine and more lockdowns coming into effect, especially around Europe. We'll see what happens. The Hummer, the big former military vehicle which was repurposed for civilian use. Hummer fans hope the new electric model will redeem the divisive brand that they love. These people love the Hummers, and it became divisive because it had incredibly terrible fuel economy. Pumping smoke out into the world, it became divisive. Some people loved it, but the majority of people were staunchly against it due to the environmental impact of the vehicle. Well, now, with a new electric model, their fans hope it will redeem the brand, and so to make it look better, and especially to redeem something, generally speaking, like in a good place, and then for some reason it fell from grace into a bad place, and this might redeem it and bring it back up to the positive position it had been in before. And if you think about it, the famous statue of Jesus in Rio, what's the name of the statue? There's some trivia buffs out there. It's that enormous statue of Jesus that stands above Rio de Janeiro is called Christ the Redeemer, because according to biblical legend, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden ate from the apple of knowledge given to them by the serpent, and then they fell from grace with that knowledge. And Christ will come back to redeem us and lift us back up to our place in the clouds or whatever, save us from Satan. Yeah, to redeem the brand, to redeem the people, to redeem your reputation. I don't think that reporter or the journalist up above it's going to be pretty tough for him to redeem his reputation after masturbating on a Zoom call with his colleagues. Woo-hoo. Last one here, folks. Trump's despicable rants against Whitmer. Remember, she is the governor of Michigan, and recently a plot was uncovered and dismantled to actually kidnap her and take her hostage and or kill her. And then, of course, Trump immediately criticized her and said that she deserved it, etc. So despicable, loathsome, wicked, vile, evil. And then a rant is just a long-winded criticism, like an old man who's just angry at the world and goes on and on about it, and then these guys, and those, basically all of Fox News. But yeah. Okie dokie. Those were the headlines for today. My rambling rant around the news. Everybody, thanks for tuning in for English Otherwise. That was breaking down the news. As you know, my name is Mr. James, but if you made it this far, you can call me Cameron, because we're friends now officially. If you like what we do, please click the like, follow, subscribe, little bell notification icon on YouTube, etc. And best of all, pass us along to a friend. I bet you know somebody who would enjoy what we do and could stand to benefit from it as well. I'll be on again tonight, 8 p.m. for another crossword. A little bit more lighthearted and less serious than the news and this weird, wild, wicked world that we live in. Alright, if I don't see you sooner, 8 p.m. tonight, then I'll see you again tomorrow, 8 a.m. in the morning. Hopefully see you around either way. Have a beautiful day. Much love. Bye-bye. It's time for breakfast. Yes, stop. Stop the stream, you fool.